Hello, my name's Fox, and I'm at Fox, and I need to start doing videos again, because I haven't, and I'm kind of mad at myself for that. But also, I'm trying to work on, Owltown and Memories of Ghosts and all of this stuff. So, a lot of shit I'm doing. Kinda, sorta. I'm also being very down by the other things. But that's a beside the point, different story altogether. Anyways, Twisted Metal. I watched this like a week ago. I've been watching it while I'm running on the treadmill, which is great. Also, now where I'm watching Gundam Witch of Mercury, which I'll be doing a review on that too. Maybe I'll be building a Gundam while I do the review of that. In either case, Twisted Metal Season 2. I seen it a few weeks ago. I'm going to watch the trailer, and then we'll actually talk about it, alright? Let's begin. 3, 2...
I am
Peacock
Calypso. And I'm hosting a tournament.
Okay, Zaz.
If you win, I will grant you a single wish.
Cowabunga, mother. It's time for the outsiders to
Peacock
get their
original.
fair share.
If we win, we can wish to bring down all the walls.
We're taking them all down. The system, the walls, all of them. Damn.
These two are dumbass. Writers of Deadpool. You know what? I think I must have forgot that the writers of Deadpool worked on this, because also watching it, I'm like, this is a special kind of stupid. And I'm saying that in a loving way. Mind you, like, yes, there is stupid shit that happens in this, but I'm saying that in a loving way, because it's a kind of stupid that's really, really fun, and it loops back around to being kind of smart because of it.
Prepare for battle in 10.
Not saying it's like high art, but it's really, really good.
9.
You make a run at me, I will end you. Feel me? We knew Calypso wasn't gonna make it easy on us. That's what makes your wish worth it. It's all happening! It's all happening!
John Wyatt, Sweet Axel Group, Dollface Mayhem Vermin featuring Harold, most badass, Emmy nominated. It got Emmy nominated. Returns, hell yeah.
Welcome to Twisted Metal.
Twisted Metal, new season streaming now.
Your brow looks really good when you're shooting.
All right. This season is all because okay. Here's the thing. I think honestly, Twisted Metal could do really well if they made this a movie series with like a bigger budget, or hell, if they just gave the show a bigger budget. Like if they gave this show Game of Thrones money, I legit think it'd be really awesome. Because I would say, like, one of the not negatives, but one of the things I would say is that, like, I would have loved if we could have gotten more car challenges, I guess, and more stuff like that. Because, obviously, this show isn't, like, the biggest, most well-funded show there is. It is somewhat low budget, especially for what they're doing, which is having, cars fighting each other. But also, that kind of works to its advantage too a little bit, because all the cars feel like they just grabbed a bunch of shit and put them together, I guess you could say. And also, I'll say this right now, this is another show that has successfully done the let's have prom episode better than She-Ra, the reboot, because yeah, and it's funny because you're like, what the fuck do you, like, if you haven't seen it, you're like, what the fuck do you mean, prom? This season starts out with John trying to escape the city from the last season. There's a new Raven. I don't know if something happened with the other Raven or if there's a whole thing. I guess there's a cult of Ravens. But Raven is making John be her driver in the contest that's supposed to be coming. They have him driving an arcade thing while also in the arcade, I believe there's supposed to be that he's playing Twisted Metal because they have the case for Twisted Metal 2 next to it, which I forgot. I think in season 1 they actually had the case for Twisted Metal 1 there. But John is trying to escape like every way he can. Eventually, he tricks his friend slash security guard to take a shower with him, and then it's like, so that way John could tell him like, look, I found this map that my sister left me that tells me how to get through the sewer ways, and like I want you to come with me. We're gonna go do this. And the guy's like, yeah, all right, yeah, good, we're brothers. And the guy then switches clothes because John's like, oh, here, take this out way you're not wet. That way you're not wearing wet clothes. The guy just immediately tattles on him. And then they're like, why are you wearing regular clothes? And they just go, oh, because I took a shower with John and my clothes got wet. And they're like, oh my God. And I'm like, oh my God, that's genius. Because then John takes the wet clothes and actually like escapes from there. Well, first he actually breaks into like Raven's thing, finds out what Raven is going to wish for, which is we had a flashback to her and her girlfriend back in the past, like in the I think 1989, I can't remember, but in the past where they go to a party and like they're kind of like the goth out kids, but then while trying to prank this one girl, her girlfriend falls off a roof and hits her head and like falls in a pool, and now she's been in a coma for, I think it's supposed to be taking like it's now, so it's like 25 years, I guess, I think. And then it turns out, oh no, that so she's still knocked out. So Raven's whole thing is to have John enter the contest because Calypso will grant anyone a wish. John even sees like the car that eventually Raven's going to be driving, which also is the car that he would have been driving if he would have stayed, but he eventually escapes. He uses like the ambulance that had the girlfriend in it to avoid like the missiles that Raven was going to shoot at him. And then it turns out, oh no, he left this girl in the garage, so it's fine. Also, let me just wipe this off real quick. I don't know if that worked, but anyways. So that's how that happened, and then that's where he then runs into Quiet, who's actually Quiet and the doll faces. I think that's doll face. The dolls, which his sister runs. Also, I should mention, while stuck in the wall and trying to escape so many times, he eventually gets his DVDs and TV taken away from him. But then he starts reading The Babysitters Club, which I've never read, but I've heard that's a thing people used to read. And then there's one, I think it's like 98 or something like that, like Babysitters 98 or something like that, where he's like, God damn it, he's like, I want, like, it's not here, and like I completely missed this one character pops in, and then he goes to his sister's room and finds the book, but then it has weed in it. God damn it, that's where he finds like the whole thing. And he runs in with Quiet, runs in with the dolls, runs his sister's like, I'm your sister, and like they're like, oh, okay, yeah, and then they're like, I don't feel anything, I don't know what I'm supposed to feel. He has no idea, but he's happy to see Quiet. He's happy to see his car, her car, Roadkill. And then also there's a new character that pops in, Mayhem, who says that she's a divorcee, and she's like, I think she's like 18, but she's like a divorcee, and she's like a chronic liar. She always lies, and Quiet ties her to a tree and says, here's an axe, try to get out. Eventually leading to like these cavemen grabbing her and Quiet and John having to save her, and pretty much then like she sticks around. Quiet eventually gets chosen because eventually all the technology around the world gets taken over by Calypso, who then Calypso says, hey, like, I'm having a tournament. I'm going to have everyone come and, drive and, challenge each other, go through different challenges. Whoever wins gets their wish. That is the end of it. Sorry, that's the end of it. Like, they get their wish, and it's pretty much a death game. Which, like, Squid Games is fun, but my God, if this isn't, like, a much funner one. Also, like, it's funny I brought up Gundam, because, like, it's not necessarily exactly the same, but you do feel like that kind of thing where it's like, like, at least with John and Quiet, it's like, their car is their, like, their signature, like, you know, like their machine, their thing that they've upgraded and things. That's what all of them kind of are. And I really freaking love that. Eventually, I'm trying to think. But yeah, so eventually, like, eventually, like, what is it? The three that are going to enter are Quiet and John are going to enter together in Roadkill. Oh man, what was her name? The sister. Let me look up Twisted Metal. Because I cannot remember her name. Quiet Dolls, his sister, 89 book. But also this funny when John actually was reading through the diary and he says, I know John's deepest, darkest secret in the diary. And John's like, oh my god. Flips to the page that says and he goes, you're a poopy head. And he goes, you're a poopy head. Or some shit like that. Like a dookie face. Let's see. Jeremy, John, Grimm, Martin Luther Keys. Alright, okay. Quiet. God, what was her name? I can't remember her name. Shit. I'm bad. I'm terrible with names. But pretty much the sister is going to join in as well. Mayhem jumps in the car back also, and also catches Quiet singing like pop girl music. Or pop music. I don't know why I said pop girl music. But like pop music. Baby has a gun. But pretty much they're the main four of this like season of group. And they're gonna all enter. They're all gonna enter. Quiet and John are gonna be entering obviously together. But they're gonna enter together. But they have to first go to Diesel City and grab like different weapons and stuff. And that's also ruled by a Caesar apparently. And that's where they're gonna get like power ups and upgrades. And also I can't remember if it was in the last season or not. But Roadkill has the triangle button as a button to like activate the guns, I think, or like the weapons. And I'm looking at that and I'm like, I want that for my truck. Like I want a button where it's just like press X to start. Boom! like have the freaking like actual like PlayStation X on there. That would be so sick. Press this to drive. Beep! Like anyways, I just saw that. I'm like, that's freaking cool. God. What was the other bits? I'm trying to remember. But like then they gotta go to Diesel City where killing isn't allowed. But when they go to Diesel City, which is where this all happens, when they go to Diesel City, Mayhem steals credentials so John and Quiet could say like, oh, they're, you know, high-ranking whatever from these other cities. And they meet the Caesar, who's going to be bidding all these weapons. And the idea is that they're going to break in to steal the weapons. And, like, Dollface is going to, like, kill all the guards up there. Because if you do anything on the lower level, you're going to get sniped. So she's going to kill all the guards up here and get to the main control room so she can open the vault. That way, then they can break in and steal, like, all the different power-ups and weapons and stuff like that. They have to get past an orgy with this one guy, and they have to act like they're banging on the way there, and then they try to act sexy with each other. It's really stupidly funny, because Quiet stabbing guy just, trying to, like, slowly gut him while showing off her ass, and then John at one point has to, like, if it sounds like a mess, it kind of is, but it's really funny. John tries to, like, do, like, slowly go under, like, lasers that could kill him or whatever, and, like, he's out. I'm like, what the fuck? It's really funny. Anthony Mackie is really good. Both of these characters. Every actor and actress in this is fucking phenomenal. Because it's really, really fun. And while this is all going on, Stu and Sweet Tooth are there. Because Stu is just working with Sweet Tooth, and, like, they're slowly trying to work their way up, because Sweet Tooth is going, man, like, I'm here to kill Big Baby. And, like, no, they go to kill one guy. He's like, do you know who I am? And this guy goes, you're Big Baby? And she's like, who the fuck is Big Baby? And it's like, the most dangerous guy in this part. He's like, what the fuck? Just kills the guy. He's like, we gotta go kill a baby. And they go find it's like a dude who has, like, an umbilical cord mace, and it's like, what the fuck? But he goes and he's about to kill Big Baby, and he's like, oh, are you, I don't know, Stabby Dan? And he's like, who the fuck is Stabby Dan? Kills Big Baby, and then uses him as a puppet for like a scene. I don't know. Sweetie's just not. And Stu then tells Sweetie like, well, like why are we doing this? And Sweetie's like, well, I gotta be the biggest and most famous one here. Like, what the hell? And he's like, okay, well then why don't we like start a competition where like all the killers come and like you kill them all, and that way then you know you're the strongest. And Sweetie's like, I like that idea, Stu. And the next episode is when Calypso says, I'm having a tournament and he'll wish. And Sweetie's like, well, Stu, he beat you to it, but we're gonna enter. So that's his whole thing. And he goes to enter. Anyways, and eventually they lead him to Diesel City where they're trying to buy weapons and stuff. And at one point, Sweet Tooth steals, like, uses, like, all of their money to buy, like, a cape that Dracula wore. And Stu's like, why did you waste all your money? He's like, well, because I can kill people like this. He just sees a guy, throws the cape over it, snaps his neck under the cape, and pulls the cape back. And Stu's like, what the fuck? And Sweet's like, see? I couldn't see anything. And, like, he's not shy. He's like, okay. Even then, I don't think a bullet could kill Sweet Tooth. Because Sweet Tooth is a freaking, like, immortal. And I love it. It's really great. He's insane. And in either case, so, yeah, that's happening with Sweet Tooth. They eventually, Quiet and John actually do, like, break into the thing. And then they start banging and set everything on fire. Stu actually is able to get in there after he gets captured for supposedly starting shit. And he gets captured and he gets taken to the orgy, and he eventually breaks into the vault on accident and just steals a bunch of weapons, like stealing all the good shit and leaving only behind like the boomerang missile, which John uses I'm like, how exactly would this really be helpful? I'm trying to think. I'm like, I guess, and like, oh, okay, like kind of a reverse heat seeker scenario, you know, like where like because he uses it later. But he, like, kind of the idea where, like, you know, oh, I don't really have a car, but I have a pterodactyl. Oh, wait. So pretty much, like, you know, you know how a rocket flies, and then, like, you do the quick turn, and then it doesn't have enough turn to turn up, so it hits whatever and explodes like that. But instead, you fire it, and then you move, and then the thing will chase after you, and then it'll hit anything that's right beside it. It hits right in the way. And I'm like, oh, that makes sense. It's been a minute since I played Twisted Metal. I also had to look up some things like Stu and Mike are actually characters in the game. Obviously, Sweet Tooth is. Grim, I didn't know, was also like one of the original ones. But pretty much, like, there's a whole heist scene, and it's like, okay, yeah, now we got all these cool weapons, and like the sister got like an EMP generator that's never used. It's like, okay, but then after all that, and they eventually go and they do like the preliminary rounds where they just drive down like it's a race to the end, and they have to get down there, and they all have bags with like 3 lives on it. There's a bunch of different characters. There's like, what is it? And like also, while they're trying to get to the preliminary round, there is other things that happen, like the sister and John Dollface and John going to the old drive-in movie theater where they used to go as kids, Dollface trying to make John remember. Eventually, oh wait, I think our name's at the very end of my notes. Let me see. Krista. But yeah, so they go with Krista. And there they actually find Axel, which is like a character who is like, in my head, I'm like, I know he's in the games. I should look up like those stuff, but like, I know he's in the games. Because like, it's the dude who's like this, but then has like 2 giant freaking wheels just and he just freaking drives around like that. And I'm pretty sure I used to play him a little bit. I gotta really look at all it. But like, there's that guy. There's Axel there, and there's this little German Nazi dude. And they go like, he's like, I'm turning men into cars. He's like, you're turning black people into cars? And he's like, what? No, I'm not doing that. No, racism doesn't do it. I don't see color. And they're like, yeah, sure. You have a gun to a black lady's head, and all this stuff. You're gonna try to turn us into cars. No, I because my best friends are black people. I think they knock the gun out of him and push him out a window. He falls backwards, stabs on his, gets stabbed by, like a spike. And they see Axel, he's like, Axel, hey! We killed the racist little Nazi guy. And I'm just like, God damn, that man is gonna forever be known as a racist. Oh god, it's really funny. And Axel's like, huh. Okay. After he was trying to kill him, okay. Also, Axel has this whole thing where he drinks gas. Where I thought, oh, because he's part car now. Because he also has like these giant like metal gauntlets that tie into the thing. But then I guess that, like, I thought the gas tied to that, but later on there's a whole, what is it? An AAA meeting? An intervention. It has a whole intervention thing. He's like, I drink gas because of this. And it's like, okay, so wait, shouldn't you, like, I know, like, you've been modified and all that shit, which I thought, okay, that's why you can drink gas. But you're telling me the gas has nothing to do with that? Like, you just drank gas to drown out your sorrows? Because, just to skip ahead a bit so we can get a little of this stuff. Axel used to be a killer in his past life before the world ended. But then he found, like he was in he had what do you call it? He had a job where he then had to kill like these people. I don't think we ever got an idea what it is. Also, I'll say this right now, the guy did good, don't get me wrong, but also, every time I look at him, I'm like, my god, if they would have gotten Terry Crews, because I also kind of feel Terry Crews would have been very perfect for this role. That being said, dude did well, dude did awesome, and he's fucking dude's a badass. But yeah, Axel, like, he killed a bunch of people, and then, like, there was a baby left, and he's like, oh, shit, I can't kill a baby, so him and the baby went on the run, and eventually, at some point, when the world ended, he got knocked out, and the baby got stolen from him, and he's been looking for her ever since, and it seems like his wish is to find the baby that he was pretty much like a daughter to him. And that's the thing, too, like, at least a lot of, like, I want to say a lot of the main cast, it does seem like at the very end of everything, they all kind of got their wishes. One of them's a little delayed, but all of them got their wishes, which is kind of cool. And it's also like a very, like, be careful what you wish for, but also, like, I don't think it's necessarily Calypso who, like, gave them this wish. It is more along the lines of everything else around them. Which, how do we get into this? But anyways, so pretty much, there's like multiple different games that they go through. The preliminary rounds, they each have a bag that has 3 lives on it, and if the bag gets hit or hurt, jangled or whatever, it gets hurt 3 times and you lose all lives, a missile will just come down and kill you. Like, that's what happens. And so they, like, eventually they all meet up, and, like, they have all these different characters. There's, like, Vermin, who's, like, this very disgusting lady who has, like, messed up teeth, apparently bang bugs. There's all this, and it's, like, and there's them, there's obviously Axel, there's, like, some other characters. There's this one guy who later on Mayhem kills and takes his ride, which his ride has a radio that is Kit from Knight Rider, and it's a living car. It's a car that has an AI on it, and I ain't gonna lie, like, generative AI, hate that shit, don't want that. But also on that same note, I don't want to, we are not learning a goddamn thing from Terminator at all, from all the shit that we're doing, we're allowing AI to control and stuff like that. On that same note, I also do like the idea of having an AI partner or friend, not partner as in like that kind of partner, but partner as in like, you know, a friend, the freaking, you know, the AI inside like the Titanfall, or when you have, I'm trying to think of, what is that, Cortana, stuff like that, right? So like, and like, or in this case, the Kit, where your car is alive and like the car drives everything forward, and I'm like, Dad, it's so cool. It's Quattro. His name's Quattro. That's what Mayhem names him, man. Like, he's so cool, and I'm like, God, I hope we see more of that next season. And he basically becomes Mayhem's driver eventually, pretty much after she steals the car because the other guy, isn't dead. But they do the preliminary round thing, and we get our big first death where Krista gets shot through the chest with gets impaled by these night guys, and she uses the bag to then blow all of them up, and it's like, oh shit! It is. And it's like, oh crap. Then starts the high school arc. Because after that, Calypso has them all hanging. I'm just gonna move it. Has them all hanging out in a high school, which also Stu's friend Mike is actually there with this other guy who used to be a cannibal, but then convinced the cannibal not to be a cannibal. And they're very positive and upbeat, and Stu tries to get along, but then him and Sweet Tooth are kind of in an abusive relationship, and then eventually Sweet Tooth also makes Stu his son after he finds out he can't have kids because he has too many balls. Apparently he's, I guess, extremely inbred, or I don't know. Also, there's a point in the final arc, or the final battle, where there's a guy who dresses up as Sweet Tooth, and actually I want to look that up. Who dresses up as Sweet Tooth? It looks like he's Sweet Tooth's biggest fan, and I looked at it and I'm like, I'm pretty sure that's the dude under the mask. No, not. Yeah, Twisted Metal actor. Okay, let me see. Yeah, okay, I'm pretty sure that's. I'm sure he's that. That's him, right? Not Stu, but Sweet Tooth. Because I was looking at him that looks like. I'm pretty sure that's supposed to be him in the crowd, and yeah, because they kept cutting back to him, and I'm like, that's got to be actual Sweet Tooth, right? But or at least the actor underneath it all. So there's the whole high school arc. Raven now is also her own driver in this, and they go to the high school arc and they kind of get their own rooms together, at least. Certain some of them have to group up, and they. Then it starts again. There's different things that happen. It's supposed to be they're in between. They go to they have to where they all eat food, and Axel at one point needs help because he has giant metal hands. And so he's like, "Someone give me a goddamn sandwich." But eventually they eat food, and eventually they have to go give their wish, which I get it because so when they have to give their wish, they go through a door and they appear at a wishing well. And they have to throw a coin in and make a wish. And that's how it happens. And each time they make... And it's supposed to be one wish per card. But John actually makes a second wish where quiet wishes for all the walls of all the cities to go down. That way everyone's on an even playing field. John's wish is for Krista to come back. He wishes for his sister to come back to be alive again. Mayhem wishes for somewhere to belong. I'm pretty sure Axel, again, is to find his quote-unquote daughter. His adopted daughter. Sweet Tooth doesn't give a shit. He just wants to kill people and be known. Stu wants him and Mike to go somewhere far away from all this and be safe together. There's some other wishes, but those don't matter. There's some other wishes, but it don't matter. But yeah, so that's pretty much that whole thing. And they do kind of hint at what Calypso's whole thing is, because they hint at they show the tree that said Croatoa on the tree itself, and saying, oh, I came here back to America when there's colonial days or whatever, and you see him kind of drag himself out of the well at some point in the very far past. It turns out Calypso had actually met John previously. And he's Calypso writing his name, I guess on early days, on all the things, saying, Calypso and all this stuff. Calypso will help, Calypso will provide, or whatever. John not believing him, and Calypso also giving him a shit ton of soda. His favorite soda, let me see. What was it? John. Twisted Metal John Doe car. Oh, so okay, so yeah, Roadkill is the main. I don't know if it's the main car or the first car you get. Twisted Metal 2, 3. Who the hell is Marcus Kane? Wait, that does actually sound familiar. I don't know who that is. Oh, Marcus. Wait. Isn't Minion vehicle Minion not a patient cleaner? Wait. Oh wait, no, yeah, because I think isn't Marcus the name of like isn't that I think that's John Doe's actual name. Wait, Marcus Kane. Yeah, because isn't that vehicle Roadkill Minion Dark Tooth Tower Tooth? Hold on. Marcus Kane, Twisted Metal. Show. Oh, it's Sweet Tooth's name. Wait, Sweet Tooth drove Roadkill? What the hell? Or identity of the iconic clown Sweet Tooth. Interesting. In either case, I was trying to look that. Wait, what was the fuck? I can't remember what the hell I was looking up. Roadkill, Marcus, John Doe. Right, because I'm trying to remember his original car. Because there's a point where, like, they have before. I think it's before. Okay, so there's a point where John tells Quiet. Also, there's a point where they fight a bunch of dummies and like. Later, Candle Guy eats that, and then Stu finds out. And also, they're not allowed to kill each other outside of competition. But John tells Quiet that he made a wish, and they kind of fight about it. And eventually, like, okay, well, we just gotta tell Calypso. They just go to the door, and Calypso's like, all right, so you need whatever. And she's like, well, this is a serious crime. He's like, it's a serious crime, whatever. He's like, well, you know what? All you need to do is both drink from the well, and everything will be sorted out. And they're like, oh, okay. So they both drink from the well. It's like, okay, cool. And then later on, we find out that Sweet Tooth peed in the well. I don't know. But John and Quiet, then I'm trying to think. I'm jumping around everywhere. I'm sorry, but John and Quiet, then there's like, okay, well, I guess everything's sorted, and then the next thing is the prom, where they have a prom thing, and again, there's the whole tree thing, and like, this guy says like. Eclipse is like, we're celebrating the winter solstice for Christmas, kinda. And he's like, we're celebrating the winter solstice. So, you know, everyone cut your hand, put it on the tree, and then they're immediately healed afterward. Anyways, what is it? Axel doesn't need to cut his hand because he has metal hands. And then they have a prom where they all just kind of have enjoy, eat food, Quiet's like, something's off about this. And he's like, yeah, well, you know, what else are we going to do? Because, okay, like, again, one of my biggest issues with the prom in the She-Ra reboot is it's like you guys are in the middle of a war and you just invite, like, you not only do you have this prom thing here for some reason, like that seems so like rich person kind of like, oh, there's a war going on, but let us have prom. You know, it's like, why are you doing this? And then they also let the princess, who's from the Fright Zone, come here with a Fright Zone captain. And it's like, why are you doing this? Like, it doesn't make sense. Where this way, it's like, yeah, they're stuck here. They can't kill each other. They can't do anything. Why not just go on prom? Which then later on we find out, spoilers, go watch the show, that like this was a ruse to grab their clothes. That way, Calypso could actually blame Quiet and John for bombing one of like the city group things at the very end of season finale. But also they then like there's a whole thing that happens here where like Sweet Tooth is trying to. God, how the hell did I keep bringing up the other drivers and I forgot to bring up one of my main favorites, Grim, who is this one guy with multiple personalities, which I'm just like, okay, he has multiple personalities, but it's because he apparently can absorb people's souls and eats them, and then they become part of him. And then he has, like, he's like Ghost Rider. Like, he's not like he catches on fire, but he has like a helmet that has the skull on it. He drives around, he has a scythe on his back. That's not really Ghost Rider, but he has a scythe on his back. And he eats people's souls that he kills. And then, like, there's even one where, like, Sweet Tooth hates him. And it's like, why does he hate him? And it turns out he hates him because when Grimm was admitted to the same insane asylum as Sweet Tooth, everyone paid more attention to him because of him having these multiple personalities. And so he was like, I got outstaged! And then he gets mad when Grimm outstages him in the dance thing, because Sweet Tooth's big dream was to dance and, be like, have the circle of people around at cheer him on as he dances. So Grimm likes Vermin, who is the like, I am all for, the odd girl or the odd character. The one that's like, doesn't fit in with society, man. And, she's, different for whatever reason. And, she's maybe the nerdy one, stuff like that. I kind of do draw the line at not having hygiene. That is the part where I'm kind of like, I think there's a line to not be crossed here. And this girl who has, like, rotted teeth, like, just completely dirty, and I just assume does not smell good in the slightest. And I'll say this, too. She does look very pretty when in, like, her dress that's, like, has, like, moth wings and all that stuff. She does look very pretty. It is not look-based that I'm going off of. It is hygiene-based that I am going off of. Where I'm just like, no! I don't know what that green shit is around her lips, and I don't want to know what that green shit is around her lips. Leave me alone! But apparently Grimm just loves it. So Grimm, like, Vermin comes up there and, like, Grimm's other voices in his head tell him, like, ask her out, and tells her, like, he wants to ask you out. And they start dancing, and that's when that whole thing happens. Eventually, they start banging underneath the bleachers, which then Sweet Tooth comes up and is like, well, Harold's bet me 10, you win the bet, Grimm. We didn't think you'd be able to bang her. And Vermin's like, I was a bet, and runs off, and Grimm's like, what the fuck? Like, what is your problem? What is your deal? And Sweet's like, well, what, like, this is for whatever. And that's when he brings up, like, it's a whole staging thing. And then Grimm, and then we see later on Sweet Tooth with Harold the paper bag, which Harold the paper bag, who has dropped the grenade once or twice and killed some people, who is sitting next to Sweet Tooth, and then we see from Sweet Tooth's point of view, everyone else looks like paper bags, but Harold looks like an actual person. Who is the actor who plays Harold? I don't know. Actually, let me look that up. Who plays Harold in Twisted Metal? Devon Sawa. I don't know who this is. Devon Sawa, IMDb. I should probably do that on my whatever. I don't. Oh, Final Destination, Idle Hands, Casper. Was he the ghost? Was he Casper? Anyways, so he appears in that, and it's like, okay. And they did that because then the next scene, Grimm takes the paper bag, takes Harold, and burns him. And Sweet's like, and he's like, no! And Sweet's like, no, I'm gonna kill you! That's when they all get gas, everyone falls asleep, and John and Quiet both wake up in separate roadkills. And it's a game of they have to kill, like, who they have a car and they have to kill other people. Which, I'll say this right now, they kind of, like, I like roadkill, don't get me wrong, but if there was ever a time for, like, them to bring back John's first car, I can't remember her name. Is it Lucille? Season 1, John Doe's car. Evelyn. I would have legit liked if Quiet wakes up in Roadkill and then John wakes up in Evelyn, because they just have two separate Roadkill cars, which makes sense. You're gonna have like extras of different cars for like filming and stuff like that, so I guess that makes sense to have two different cars. Which also, it was weird, like, are Quiet and John still considered the same team? I guess they are. I don't know, but I'm like, man, it would have been kind of cool if like you would have had Evelyn there as John's car in this fight, and it's like, what the fuck? Like, one, like, how did Calypso bring back Evelyn? But then also how did Calypso make two separate, exact same car? But also on that same note, like, you could have said, like, in a way, like, maybe John have to sacrifice Evelyn to, like, you know, kind of show, like, he's leaving his past behind kind of thing to move forward. I don't know. I felt like there could have been something a bit there, especially since Calypso tries to say, like, you only need yourself and all these things. So, like, I feel like John having to literally choose between his original just being himself alone kind of freedom that Calypso wanted him to have versus, you know, his new life with Quiet and Mayhem would be kind of interesting. But pretty much, like, they have a whole fight scene where you kind of see it a little bit here with, like, the electric storm, where, like, they drive by these poles, which really you could tell, like, it's probably done on, it's, like, my guess, it's all done on the same, like, big-ass, airway thing that they did the first thing on, but they hit everything in darkness and they only have like the one pillar there, but say there's multiple pillars that are arcing electricity off, which, funny enough, I do remember that level. I'm pretty sure that is a level in the actual games. Or it's lighting off, and pretty much the idea is that like each of them has a card and they have to kill the person that's on the card. I think Quiet got Mayhem, John got it wasn't Vermin. Raven got Vermin got John. John, I think, got Axel. And then Axel got Quiet. Because they just woke up in the car, they have to go through the little fight thing. Raven kills Vermin, but then she's like, I'm just gonna keep going, because I'm gonna if I kill everyone else, then, you know, I'm done and I can have my wish. While this is all going on, also during prom, Stu accidentally made a joke saying, "Oh, here's some ladyfingers, not actual ladyfingers." So the guy who was a cannibal, he's like, "You're an asshole," runs away, and Mike's like, "Dude, what the was that?" And honestly, I'm kind of on Mike's side a bit. I'm like, yeah, you could have not brought that up. I'm like it's like going to someone who's like been on like crack and just be like, hey, look, it's a crack on the floor, not the kind you like to smoke. And it's like, what the fuck? Like, why? What? Any case, so I'm gonna try to end this. But anyway, so like Stu follows him. This guy's in the bathroom eating like some of these dummy guys that attacked earlier. Like inside the school setting as like a bonus game. It's pretty much like the backstabbing knife game in Squid Games kind of thing. It's a bonus round. But Stu's like, oh shit. And pretty much like they fight. The guy's like, I'm still gonna eat people. I'm gonna kill you, and I'm gonna eat you, Stu. I'm gonna have Stu. At one point, he sits on him, and like he has to bite. Stu has to bite his ass to get him off, and get him off of him. The cannibal guy jumps and runs and tries to, I guess, tackle him. Stu jumps out of the way, and he just guy stabs his eye onto a clothesline hook and just kind of hangs there. And Stu's like, oh shit! Takes a rope, ties it around him, writes a suicide note. And eventually now, they're having a court case in front of the well. Calypso's like, well, we need to go through, you know, what the hell happened. And also, like, because you killed someone on on the green. And Stu's like, I didn't kill jack shit. And Stu also, like, very much for like, oh no, what happened? And then he's like, no, like, eventually Calypso does make him confess after he makes him bite the dude's dead ass to see if the teeth match. And Stu's like, okay, this is what happened. Gives a whole rundown. And he's like, look, I'm sorry, man. Like, I'm sorry this happened, but like, it wasn't my fault and all that stuff. And Mike's like, I forgive him, like, or whatever. And they're like, okay, fine. Now, for the murder of Harold, looks to Grimm, and Grimm's like, what the fuck? He's a paper bag. And he's like, yes, but he's still one of his friends or whatever. And Sweet Tooth's like, oh, I'm gonna fucking kill him. And he's like, no, you won't. And actually, everyone is not in chains except for Sweet Tooth. And Sweet Tooth's like, why am I the only one in chains? And Calypso says, because you're the one stupid enough to do anything. And Sweet Tooth's like, yeah, you're right. I'm like, God, I love this man. But Sweet Tooth, pretty much, they have a whole thing for Harold. And they're like, yeah, you killed him, right? He's like, well, yeah, I killed the fucking paper bag, but it's a paper bag. He's like, well, it's a person, whatever. So you took his friend, so I'm going to take yours. So Calypso takes all of the different souls out of Grimm and throws them in the well. And, like, it's funny because no one else can see, like, the souls being sucked out except for Grimm and Calypso. And also, Calypso is straight magic because, again, pulled souls out of there. At one point, Raven kind of gives him shit. And then Calypso makes her bleed out of his nose. So, like, he has some kind of magic powers. And also is apparently, like, I think ageless because, again, they very much hint that he was there since, like, and then this was a thought and I completely left it. He's been there since Croatoa, which, if you don't know, there's, like, or, like, whatever, there's some civilization, okay. Because there's like, oh, what's the big mystery? And it's not really even a mystery, apparently. But back in the days, there was a settlement in America. Some people like, all right, you guys stay here. We'll be back in like a few months, whatever. Go to England, grab whatever supplies, and come back. They leave, grab women, come back. The entire place is gone, except for on the tree, it's written Croatoa. And it's like, what does it mean? It's not like it actually, is the name of the Native American group that lives down the fucking road. But, yeah, it's not them living down the road. No, it's some mystery. It's like, no, they literally wrote Croatoa because, like, there was a whole bad winter and all this other stuff. So they left the settlement to go live with the Native Americans who were helping them. So that's where that is. But apparently, no, it's how I can't believe these settlers would actually go live with Native Americans. God, which, fun fact, apparently a lot of the people who, like, started to live with the Native Americans back in the day, really enjoyed it and thought it was a better way of living than their, current way of living. So, yeah. And, people who own the money had to end that real quick, apparently. In either case. Also, did you know Puerto Rico, as well as, like, half of the United States... Well, Puerto Rico, like, had Native Americans called Taínos, as well, that kind of spread out through all of the Caribbean, as well as, most... And then, obviously, from... All of America was, Native American land and stuff like that beforehand, including, Mexico and that. So, like, Aztecs were actually Native Americans as well like the Mayans and all this other stuff, because this is all America. In any case, beside the point, let's keep going. An Avatar kind of show, but it's all the Native Americans. Like, the Taino could be, like, the water tribe. Then you have, like, the Aztecs would be, like, the fire tribe. Well, then again, sadly speaking, you do have... I'm going off topic. I apologize. But I just really like that idea. And not to mention, there is, like, Aztec/Native American, kind of, in Avatar world, where the original firebenders were native people, which makes sense, too, because Native Americans are said to have actually came from, like, Asia originally, like, back when Bering Strait, and they came... Any case, beside the point. So yeah, Croatoa, not that big of a mystery of what happened. To loop it back. Following all of that, they have the whole thing. Mayhem gets hit with, like, this lightning gun that Raven is in charge of, that she tried to kill John with, which Mayhem gets knocked out of the fight because of it, so Quiet doesn't have to kill her. John and like they're like, oh shit, like well she's out of the game entirely, even though she didn't die, which cool. Axel then also has to jump in the way of she crashes and Raven shoots the energy and almost hits Quiet or Mayhem, and then Axel actually jumps in the way and gets hit with electricity protecting his daughter after seeing like this hair tie that she has. That was the baby blanket that she had back when. Quiet never learns this, and Axel says them, protect her, and he seemingly dies as his hands kind of get burned and seems to be like welded to like the wheels now and kind of rolls off into the shadows. Who knows what happens then later. Eventually the game ends. Quiet is out, and like they're like, hey, you did good or whatever, but you're out of the contest and all this stuff. You're not joining us in any of these fights. You don't even think about it. But she feels happy because now she kind of has her family again, her wish. But then she overhears Quiet and John saying like, they're gonna leave her behind. But mind you, she meant like, just in the competition, not like leave her behind. She misunderstands it. Accidentally finds her way into Calypso's secret lair, where she finds that he's making something, or he has something set up for a boss battle for the end of the match, because next is the final round where it's just a battle royale and a car pit thing, and now it's John, Quiet, both in their separate roadkills, Sweet Tooth, who now adopted Stu as his son. It says I come from a long line of fathers trying to kill sons, but keep going, my son. Stu and Mike are now working together, and like they're in like one of those like trainer cars, and each of them have a separate wheel and like steering wheel. And eventually, like Mike's arm is kind of messed up because of I can't remember, something happened. And Stu hurt his leg jumping off of a car thing, so Stu is driving while Mike is hitting the gas and brakes and all that stuff. And then obviously there's Raven, who also eventually has a cheat code. It gives her invulnerability, which Calypso has to shut off later to give a fair fight. And then there's also Grimm, who's ready to fight Sweet Tooth. And they're just all out war. They start fighting each other. There's one side of the outsiders, the other side of the got people in the walls, like both watching, they're cheering on. There's a whole battle thing. There's a whole Raven thing. Like, Sweet Tooth looks like he dies, but he gets back up, and he just starts fighting with Grimm, who he knocks him off his thing, and they start fighting. Eventually, like, he kills Grimm. I think Grimm gets like run over, and then Sweet Tooth flips his truck over and gets back in it, or tries to get back in it, but then he forgets his keys are in there. John blows up Raven by firing the boomerang rocket. Like, it's actually really cool. Like, Raven's like, oh, like, because there's the main arena, and then around the outside there's like a hall where like there's like slip opening, and Raven's like, oh, he went in through here, so he's gonna come around this way. And you see her go and like shoot blasts, and you just see John go like you see John go like drift just and then you see him just fire like the rocket, go behind the wall again, fires the rocket, and misses. Raven's like, ha, you missed! And the rocket and just hits her directly from behind, kills her. She sees her girlfriend before dying. Sweet Tooth, I think he gets hit again. Yeah, he gets hit by a car again, and he gets sent to a wall and just like looks like he's dead. Stu and Mike gets shot and he's dead. Stu gets knocked out for a minute. Quiet and John and Sweet Tooth, right? It's Quiet, John, and Sweet Tooth. Because Sweet Tooth, well, I'm still alive. And then Eclipse is like, bonus round, and releases Nemesis. I'm sorry, Minion, who is like this big red demon character. Actually, you know what? I should probably be using my thing. I should probably be using this because I have a computer and a slow screen here. Why the hell not? recurring powerful demonic boss in Twisted Metal, typically driving massively heavily armored tank and seeking revenge on Calypso for stealing his powers, appearing as an unlockable playable character in some game of Twisted Metal 2 and the Twisted Metal Black as formidable high, whatever. Okay, yeah, Minion. Yeah, Minion right here. You have Minion coming back, and it's like, oh shit, like, oh, you have this Minion, like, oh shit, and Minion just starts, wrecking shit, destroying, like, cars of that, eventually, I think, Sweet Tooth, like, pulls off a Gatling gun from his thing and starts shooting it at him. If I remember it correctly, I could be messing up. Minion kicks the shit out of him and slams a wall, and you just see, this guy fall to the ground just, like, bleeding out. It's like, oh no. It's like, oh shit, Sweet Tooth. Quiet and John try to fight it, and it doesn't work out well. They get the crap kicked out, and their cars get destroyed. And Calypso's like, and man, I can't remember if they beat. I legit don't remember what exactly happened. I think they hit him with a rocket, but it, like, all the cars are destroyed at that point. And they're like, oh, nobody wins except Stu comes out, like, in a car slowly dying. And it's like, oh, well, I guess Stu wins. Everyone's cheering, they're having fun, and then it turns out, Stu makes it, is like, what is it? The people who were behind the walls, their section explodes. All those people die, and they're like, oh, it was Quiet and John who did it, because we took their clothes and made other people dress up as them and then dropped the bombs there and all this other stuff. And so, making John and Quiet, like, public enemy number one now, from, like, the walls and everything. And then, oh man, what was the last? And then pretty much John and Quiet and Mayhem actually get into Sweet Tooth's truck, drive off. Stu goes to the clips, is like, I want my goddamn wish. And he looks back and he sees Mike dead in the thing. He's like, and again, his wish is for him and Mike to, be together far away from all this shit. Back home. Or somewhere safe. And Clip's like, okay. Snaps fingers. Stu is now in the space station. In a space station made by, I guess, Calypso, alone, with the dead body of Mike that's just floating there. And Stu's like, what the? And I'm like, that is such a, like, as soon as he said, I'm like, I already know what's going to happen. He's going to, like, be in, like, a crypt or, like, some kind of thing alone with the body of Mike. And because he didn't wish for Mike to be alive, just to be with Mike. And I'm like, yeah, that's going to happen. And when he saw him, I'm like, oh, shit. I'm like, that's a very bad ending. That's a very bad ending for Stu. And it's like, why did you do that to Stu? Like, I don't think he was, like, he's not, like, a bad guy. He's not, like, a bad guy, whatever. Like, legitimately, there's a funny bit I really love where, in the final part, John's driving, and Stu comes by. He's like, Stu drives by, and John's like, that's my guy, Stu! That's my guy, Stu! And then Stu starts shooting at him. He's like, that's not my guy! Fuck you, Stu! I'm like, God damn it, I love him. Anthony Mackie is so good. He's so good. That's Captain America. But, yeah, so that happens. Eventually, John, Mayhem, and Quiet escape, and they go to this cabin that's, like, on also Quattro, but he doesn't anywhere to plug into. They know about this what was it? This cabin up in the woods that used to be John's family's cabin, and they're like, they get there, they actually drive there, and they give a map that his sister drew as a kid, and I love how he shows the map, which, mind you, Mayhem can't read. So she shows the kid's map, and she's like, oh, finally, something I can read. It's like, okay, kid. I'm like, all right, a kid. But I'm like, all right, that's kind of funny. But anyways, so they go up to the cabin, and they actually have a good life. Like, they go up there, they find out that the cabin is solar powered, and they're like, solar sounds like gas from the future. Like, there's a solar panel, I guess, so it has power in there. They try to fish, and eventually Quiet just shoots a gun in there, and John's like, what the fuck? Like, no, just gonna waste ammo like that? And then him shoots in there as well. And gets a fish too, and they just start just shooting together and grabbing fish, which then they make fish that looks really good. And every so often, like, oh man, this fish is so good. They spit out a bullet, which reminds me of the Back to the Future scene in 3, I think. Which I'm like, all right, probably a little bit of lead poisoning, but all right. But yeah, they spit out the bullets, and they have, you have good food or whatever, and they're pretty much a family. They clean up, they have fun, they play board games, everything's great. Until, like, all the TVs come on and realize that they're all now public enemy number 1. All the cities are going to join together to try to kill John and Quiet, as well as every outsider. They're starting a war. Minion breaks in, going after to try to kill them. Also, I forgot, John also finds the book that he was missing. He was able to read it. And also, they find, like, John and Mayhem find, like, baseball gloves and a baseball, and you see John, like, and Mayhem's like, what? And then they put it on their head as helmets, and they use the ball to knock down nests with bird eggs in it, which then Mayhem's like, yeah, I got it! And then it starts eating the eggs straight, and I'm like, what the fuck? And I'm like, alright, fine. I'm like, that's funny. But, anyways, Minion busts in. John tells everyone to run. Eventually, like, another guy busts in, like, get down! Starts shooting at Minion, which also Minion has, like, a weak spot on her back. They shoot at her, and, like, John's able to get the helmet off, and it turns out it's his sister Krista. Because, again, everyone kind of got what they wanted. Like, Mayhem got her family with John and Quiet. Quiet not necessarily got hers yet, but I'm pretty sure season 3 will be the end of the walls because they're going to take them down. Because now whatever. But John's thing was that he wanted his sister back, and his sister came back. Just as a monster. As a monster that's hunting them down, and also, like, brainwashed. Like, it's not like you see it, but eventually, like, you see her eyes go back to regular, so, like, she kind of registered John at one point when they're finally escaping. And it turns out the guy who also came in to help him, it was Stu. Because Stu said that, like, while up there, he started working out and trying to do better physically while on the space station, and I hope he had food up there, unless he probably ate Mike. Which is probably what happened, because then it would match with, like, the cannibal guy. It's like, well, now you're just as bad as him or whatever. If anything, we'll probably see, like, the cannibal guy pop up as, like, a voice in Stu's head in season 3. And I'm trying to think. Yeah. So, but yeah, so, like, they try to escape, and they're like, all right. They escape in, like, Sweet Tooth's still truck. Also, Sweet Tooth got grabbed and was dragged off to, like, his dad. Well, like, that was the big thing at the very end, where, like, he's going to his dad, wherever his dad lives, where his dad's, like, a preacher or whatever. So, like, they're going there. But then also, again, like, John and the others are like, all right, well, everyone hates us. The world is, like, out against us. What are we going to do? And John just kind of smiles, and, like, everyone's like, why are you smiling? He's like, I'm not smiling. He's like, yeah, you're smiling. Like, you're excited. Like, what are we going to do? He's like, we gotta get cards first. And that's where that ends. And I'm like, God damn, it's going to be good. It is funny how, like, and also I try to mention, like, Calypso's whole thing was that, like, he wanted to make a Twisted Metal game reality show to have celebrities verse each other with, like, their own private cars and have them fight against each other and stuff like that. And I'm like, yeah, I gotta see why they didn't do that. And he's like, well, you'll be able to control the world with TV. And it's like, we already control the world with TV. It's called Friends. And it's like, I mean, but yeah, so it's really funny. I was like, okay. And then he's like, well, I guess I'll just have to end the world to make this happen. Why exactly? I don't know. But like, now he's kind of has control, I guess, of the world himself. But yeah, so that's Twisted Metal Season 2, which I gotta rewatch my own review, because apparently I called something. I'm gonna make another review about it. Because I'm like, because Styro brought that up, and like, you called something that happened in there, like, last time, and I'm like, God, I need to rewatch that then. Because it would surprise me if, like, yeah, if anything, I think it's probably along the lines of me calling that like next season's gonna start with John like trying to escape and eventually like running to his sisters. All that. I'm gonna go ahead and assume. If anything, Styro, if you're watching this right now, please put underneath because I'm trying to remember because it has been 2 years since I did my review of the last season. So, but yeah. This is great. The practical effects are pretty fun. There's obviously some, like, you know, CGI for, like, some of the rockets, stuff like that. But other than that, it seems like all the cars are pretty much practical effects. It is, like, the closest thing you'll get to a Mad Maxing. And also, it is a really fun, like, double watch to watch, like, Twisted Metal and Fallout, like, two both post-apocalyptic series are running right now that, or, you know, built on the bones of an old world. But yeah, it's really good. The show's awesome. I really like it. I hope we get a season 3. It is legit, really, really fun show. And I want to see what's going to happen next. There are way more car things in this one, but I would have liked a little bit more. Again, bigger budget, but even then, it's fine. And there's also a shit ton of fun, like the ice thing. And I should be too, because again, in the beginning, like everyone acts stupid in this. Everyone acts like a child in this. Like if you would have told me, like, if this is just a bunch of kids playing with their cars, going, no, you can't do that. Like, I'd shoot reverse rocket. Like, it wouldn't surprise me because they all act like kids, but in, like, the funniest way possible where it's not annoying, but it is like, man, you guys are dumbasses, but it's really, really funny. Anyways, I don't know. Tell me in the comments below. Thanks for watching. Check out other videos. Hopefully enjoy this, and we will. See you later. Also, I definitely want to see what's going to happen with, like Sweet Tooth, because Sweet Tooth is just straight up immortal, but also, like, you know, obviously with Johnny and the others, and like, how's this war gonna happen? Like, are we gonna get Game of Thrones Twisted Metal? That'd be kind of cool. Also, I'm sure Axe will be back.